April 2024 will be the biggest and most important month this year, guys. Look at this. Everything is merged together here. All the planets are very close together. Lots of new beginnings. Solar eclipse of the century is happening there. Powerful solar eclipse, which means new beginning solar eclipse, which means there is earthquake in your soul at certain level, because there are earthquakes as well on Earth. And this earthquake changes and gives you a new initiative, new direction in life, new identity areas. These are my longest horoscopes this year. I'm not gonna do such long horoscope, but this is such an important month. A new beginning, another new beginning. Saturn conjunct Mars, new cycle starts, which means you're gonna have for the next 2 years new tasks, the great work that you have to do, where you have to build perseverance, where you have to put a lot of your efforts. Where is that going to be? And you might have a master finished work within 2 years, but big challenges there as well. And the biggest event of the year, Jupiter conjunct Uranus. It will never happen again. Jupiter to conjunct Uranus in Taurus in your life. It will repeat in 84 years, once in a lifetime opportunity. I can't tell you how excited I am. New cycle. Well, will your source of abundance and opportunities come to you over the next 14 years? If you catch this message, if you understand it, you can have an opportunity for the next 14 years to be abundant. So we'll speak about each of the 12 signs. But before I start, I want to tell you that this is my birthday month, April. If I'm still alive after April, with all the eclipses and new beginnings, I want to make you a gift. All my courses will be 30, 40%, sometimes even more off. I do this only once per year for 2 weeks. This is the time. All my courses, personal courses, if you want to learn astrology over 1,000 hours, they're short courses, long courses, I'll put them. You can buy them now. I hope you enjoy this. And we still have a few places for the retreat with me in Bulgaria at the end of May. We have 3 places, I think, so quickly write to me if you're interested to organize everything quickly for you. This is the most personal retreat I ever do, because I'll be looking at all of your horoscopes individually. It's very private and it's very personal. It's a small group only. So thank you so much. Let's start. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2024. Capricorn, this month is the month of 2 eclipses, in between 2 eclipses and the last one. The eclipses are happening on a very important axis for you. The first one is in March, the end, but the influence of that eclipse in your 10th house is for the next 3 months. So they always go in pairs. The second one is on April the 8th in your 4th house. This is the more powerful one because it's a solar eclipse. But they both activate your 10th and 4th houses. What can some of you expect? Of course, it's not going to be for all Capricorns, but if you hear that those themes are happening in your life, know that they are not by chance. Know that actually, even if they feel a bit stressful, if it feels like you're being taken out of your comfort zone, or if it feels like a crisis, know that this is eclipses are fated, and know that you are aligned actually to the soul, to the direction of your soul, if you're feeling those themes. And those themes for you are a big change that's going to happen this year. Maybe within the next, maybe already it's happening, or maybe within the next 3 to 6 months, because eclipses don't happen just on the 8th of April. That's it. This is the day this big change will happen. Eclipses are omens for the whole year ahead. Lunar eclipses at least for 3 months, solar eclipses for a year. So where is this big change coming for you, Capricorns? On the axis of family and career. Maybe the first lunar eclipse can, for some of you, indicate a big shift away from a certain direction in your career, goals in life, completion of some project, career project, or maybe big change that is happening, reorientation. While the second eclipse, the April one, there is a huge focus on family. Your family life, because 4th house from Capricorn is there, your private life. So maybe you're giving up something there for worldly achievements or status in order to dedicate more to family, in order to open a new chapter in your family life, in order to make more space for your personal life. That's not necessarily just family. This is your soul. The 4th house is, at the bottom of the horoscope, your mental, psychological balance, health, well-being. They say that this is the house of happiness. So if your soul is okay, which is the fourth house, and it is connected to family, as we know, people have certain level of natural happiness, that mental state of being, and if they might have started very low because of very difficult early 20 years of their life, family circumstances, or they might have a higher, emotional intelligence and capacity and strength because they had more secure early life environment. That's why it's also home, early childhood, but also your mental health, your happiness, your contentment, ability to be emotionally strong and resilient no matter what happens. And when your foundation is strong, no matter what curveballs life throws at you, you pick up yourself and go again. So this is what this eclipse will be working on. And this eclipse has a very healing component because it's with exactly conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer and philosopher and wise teacher. So there is a possibility here, and yes, it can happen through some kind of crisis or realizations that are uncomfortable, but for healing of childhood wounds, the wounded child here, from family, almost like also breaking the pattern from family ancestral kind of karma of some sort, having a realization that shifts the layers, because eclipses, eclipses, when eclipses happen, there is earthquakes around the earth normally, or some kind of craziness in the weather as well. This eclipse is doing the same in your soul on a deep psychological level, that is shifting layers that were very crusty at the bottom. Imagine it at the bottom of your soul, due to piling up of mud and layers of family, ancestral karmas, patterns, and the eclipse comes and shakes it all up. So it can feel like you're losing ground under your feet for a moment. It might be just psychological, emotional. It might be some actual development, a big change in your life with parents, in your personal life, with place that you're living, that you're having a big change over the next 6 months. But this is an alchemical process happening on a deep level. And maybe it entails that you can change and break through, because this is an eclipse of breakthrough. It's bringing in new energy there. It's new moon eclipse, so new energy with the north node. It breaks through old patterns and behaviors that you're used to in regards to something that's holding you back, connected to family, to ancestry, to your childhood. And the healing energy of Chiron brings you the philosophical view, because Chiron was a philosopher and teacher, and realization, which helps you. Well, the wound, you can never repair it. It's in the past. To accept the wound, see it in a different light. And through that, help not just yourself, but others as well. So on the deep spiritual level, this eclipse is doing a soul cleanse, a soul recalibration of your foundational vibration of happiness or unhappiness. For some of it might be foundational vibration of meh that you're constantly feeling, foundational vibration of fear, foundational vibration of, but it can shift it. This is a rare opportunity. There's not going to be another eclipse for 19 years again, with the North Node and solar eclipse in Aries in your fourth house for 19 years. So that's a rare opportunity to have a breakthrough. It might happen through breakdown into a breakthrough with your emotional well-being, childhood, family. So, and in this process, you might even need, and it can indicate as a mirror on the outside of your life, that you relocate somewhere, that you expand your family, a new member enters your family, a member leaves your family, a new person enters very close into your life. It might be even a pet, but someone can appear in your life over the next 6-7 months who is going to be very close to you, who's going to feel like a member of a family, that it brings in a new impulse, the Aries energy, new impulse of life, brand new pure energy. And it's going to come through a change in your, either a person, maybe a child, maybe a pet, maybe a very dear person that is close to your bosom, maybe a new place to live that recharges, because Aries is the area of your life where if we get stuck there, we don't have drive and motivation. And for you, it's very much about your home environment, place of living, You really need to have this pure motivation, excitement there. So if you're not living in the right place, if your family circumstances are somehow unsatisfactory, toxic in some way, unhealthy, there is a possibility for you to break through that, or a new person to enter that it stays in your life for a long time as well, or to start a new family situation, to settle down, for example, to move in to live with someone, form a family, move out and go live in another country or whatever. I don't know how exactly to manifest on the external life for you, but just remember that this is renewal of your soul, renewal of your deepest motivations, and kind of renewal of the karmic contract with your family. Maybe a possibility to heal part of the, when they say when you heal yourself, you heal your ancestors, even though they are departed. Because time is irrelevant on the other, you can break a cycle, start a brand new cycle there. So hopefully you can use this energy. And Mercury, the retrograde, the whole month, it can mean you have retrospection about such matters. You can mean that you're really digging deep, maybe with a psychologist, retrospection, but a breakthrough as well because of the eclipse. Maybe you have some clarifying conversations with my family member, or maybe you have some arrangements. Mercury is also more mundane, practical in nature, arrangements, rearrangements of your home, some contracts for property or real estate, or maybe you hear from a family member you haven't heard for a bit, or maybe you go and revisit your place of birth or place that you used to live in, Mercury retrograde, to go back. Maybe you edit something in your home. Maybe you have been building a home and you're trying to complete it, and Mercury retrograde makes you put extra focus on arrangements, on planning, replanning, of course. You might have certain plans, personal plans, which is in the fourth house. And Mercury retrograde says, tough luck. You have to be more flexible. And instead, you have to be ready to see that there's other ways to do it, or maybe that something is not working there that you can correct and do better. And overall, when Mercury is retrograde, not just for your home and family life, Mercury rules your sixth house, work, everyday routines. It's usually a time where unexpected things you have certain plans, but the plans don't play out, but you might feel frustrated. But remember, it's only to show you a different perspective, that maybe you've missed something, maybe there is a better way to make it, maybe a project at your work or whatever, something you're writing, speaking, something where you use your skills, your hands, your mind, that there is in communications, maybe redoing something using your skills, redoing some meetings, some correspondences, conversations, seeing if you're missing some pieces there, if there is a mistake, misplaced password, whatever, and so on. So of course, we'll be dealing with this. So April is not very stable month, but it's a breakthrough month. Then the other big event is that a new cycle is happening between Saturn and Mars in your third house. Saturn and Mars, I don't think they'll meet again. I don't think they'll meet again for 29 years. So in your third house. And Saturn and Mars cycles, they last for 2 years. So something can start happening in April that gives you the direction of where you have to work hard in the next 2 years. And you're Capricorn, you're not afraid of such hard work, but you might feel a little bit frustrated around the 10th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, where Saturn and Mars are very close, because you're Saturn and Mars close to your planet. Of course, it's a sense of urgency or a sense of stop and go energy, a sense of, actually Mars can charge you with more energy, but it can also feel frustrating because you can feel more activated to respond, more out of character, with less consideration. But at the same time, it can be a period you start, even if it's more easy to get triggered, it's a period you can start some new initiatives, because Mars joins you. It gives you, Saturn, its energy, and imparts a new program that you have to work hard on, and you have to put efforts in, and you have to use willpower, which is Saturn and Mars, for the next 2 years. Those new beginnings might be some some project that is connected to media, third house, to marketing, to sales, to some commercial transactions. It might be connected to some kind of teaching or learning project, some training, some course you want to study, or learning some difficult skill. Actually, Saturn and Mars love being in the third house. The third house in ancient astrology is known as the house of difficult things. Why is it called difficult things? Because third house is learning anything new. Imagine learning a language. Imagine learning to drive. Imagine learning to write for the first time. Imagine learning to use a software for the first time. Doing anything that requires your mind or skills, or trying to paint for the first time. Any interest or hobby, trying to do it for the first time. It's difficult. I mean, you can be naturally talented for that, but it requires effort to learn a new skill. And Saturn and Mars are very dauntless planets. They are not fearful. They're no nonsense, no beating around the bush. That's it. No time for postponement, for excuses. No excuses. No, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. Now you get serious about it, Saturn, and you go after it, Mars. So might be a very good time to start learning something new, to update your skills. But remember, it's not going to be easy. It's Saturn and Mars after all. But Saturn and Mars are perfect in the third house because they give you the backbone, the perseverance, Saturn, the willpower, Mars, to pursue some new skill, to even to be courageous. Third house is to take risks, to try something new. It's the house of courage. Yeah, Saturn can make you a bit fearful there, but I'll tell you for you this mantra. Feel the fear, Saturn, and do it anyway, Mars. Feel the fear and do it anyway. This third house wants new experiences, new skills to try something that you're afraid of. It may even be out advised, maybe try not to travel around the 10th because it's in your third house of traveling. Maybe around the 10th, you can have some confrontations in communication as well. Maybe the whole month, because Saturn and Mars are close together. Maybe in March already you're feeling it, that you might feel more triggered by others, but also you feel like telling people things as they are, without sparing their feelings. Saturn and Mars are a bit ruthless energy. So in communications, you might be a bit more no nonsense and a bit more harsh, but maybe it's necessary, and it might even require you to cut off and eliminate some people in your social environment, because it's a social house, or from social media, some relatives, some mates, teammates. There might be some tension in a small group environment as well with this. But also it's telling you that maybe for the next 2 years you can achieve some great feat, because Saturn is great effort. Mars is you mobilize all your energy. Great feat with a small group environment. Maybe you're working on some project, and it starts now that you have to collaborate with a few people. Maybe it's some business project you're trying to take off, or maybe some skill you're trying to master or perfect. This is the perfect combination for that. Maybe you're working on your communication skills. Maybe you're working on your brand as well. This can be something like that, where you're learning marketing skills, where you're learning media skills, where you're learning communication skills, business skills, any kind of practical hands-on skills as well. And despite of feeling the fear, you would find your voice and you would find your signature. Specific signature is also third house. So yes, it's not going to be easy. You have to put the efforts. It's not going to fall on you, but it might be just an omen that you'll be working on something like that for the next 2-3 years, maybe taking a couple of years, taking a course, your entrepreneurial or business abilities. Third house is the house of self-made wealth. Self-made wealth through your skills. So it's a great place for Saturn and Mars to meet, because you put the efforts into that. You put your back into it. But of course, you can create problems with a sibling. It can create problems with some mates. In your communications, you might want to eliminate some people and be ruthless about it. And you can notice that others when they communicate with you as well, can be more difficult, for example. But this is what helps you find your strength, find your Mars wants you to build strength there through communications, through how you express yourself verbally. And Saturn wants you to put barriers and to be more discriminatory, not just Because Neptune's been for 14 years in your third house. Maybe you let everyone in the kitchen sink in your vicinity. Maybe you were too allowing, or maybe ambiguous and unclear with your communications. Or when you have to do something practical, hands-on, maybe you were not too focused. Now Saturn and Mars will give you this ability, even if it's not in an easy way, but still they'll help you build this more focus of the mind, more organization in your mind, even in your environment somehow, and kind of ticking off boxes. I have to do this, I have to do this, taking off more organization there in your mind, in your immediate environment, and the people that you have from your life, and even cut off some people that are time wasters. Saturn and Mars want to clear up the mess of Neptune. I'm not saying there weren't good things from Neptune, but maybe you're seeing, maybe you're too allowing to a sibling, you've been too soft to your co-workers, teammates, whatever. Saturn and Mars says now you have to stand up for your rights. At the same time, follow the rules, be respectful, but stand up for your rights and put boundaries and clear rules, clear set boundaries and rules. Now the other third, probably very beautiful, very important combination that will never happen again in your life. Jupiter and Uranus will meet again in 14 years in your 7th house. That would be a biggie, but they'll never meet again in your 5th house ever in your life. They'll meet again in your 5th house in 84 years or something. So once in a lifetime, new cycle starts for you that will last 14 years. Something totally new can enter your life over the next, even I would say this whole year, even from the beginning of 2024 into the end, because these two planets are close together. Even when Jupiter moves into the other sign, they're still close together. They conjunct exactly on the 20th of April, but don't expect on the 20th of April something brand new is going to fall on your lap. It might have happened a little bit before. I often feel the influences a couple of months before or a few months after. It's this year, but the peak is now in April. Jupiter conjunct Uranus in one of the luckiest houses in your horoscope, the 5th house of good karma. The good deeds you've done in past lifetimes are stored here. Now, two exceptionally benevolent planets are triggering your 5th house of good karma. And you might not even know, that's why the 5th house is known as house of luck, where you can win lotteries or something like falls on your lap. And everyone's like, oh, they're so lucky bastard, It's not because you're so lucky, it's because you've been decent human and you've done something in past lifetime or earlier. You can't make the correlation now, but God keeps a book there. Your higher self keeps a book and says, now I'm dispensing. This Jupiter-Uranus combinations are when there is a dispensation of new impulse of inspiration, knowledge, clarity, and abundance, a source of abundance and wealth. That can happen very fast as well. Jupiter is abundance of knowledge, of wealth. Uranus is something to happen fast, unlocking your good karma. I would even play the lottery, especially if I'm Capricorn, Sun, Moon arising around 20 to 25 degrees, where the conjunction will make exact trine. 22 degrees is where they meet exactly. But for other Capricorns as well, why not? I mean, if it's your luck, now it's a very good time to do that, if it's your karma, let's say. Or you can see that something comes to you, something like a blessing. And what is the biggest blessing? Ancient scriptures, the Bible always compared children to the biggest blessing. That's why 5th house rules children. The biggest wealth. Jupiter rules children. 5th house rules children. For some of you, might be a surprise of some sort. The biggest wealth are children. After that, the biggest wealth are, of course, it can be financial wealth. And in the 5th house, we're talking here wealth that you can come like an idea to you. 5th house rules creativity or original ideas that you download, or ideas that no one has had before you. Or maybe something similar exists, but you have a much brighter and innovative vision for it. So you can download something now that is, it doesn't have to be on the scale of changing the whole world. It can be for your personal life. It's some idea that is original, and you'll be full of ideas. Maybe write them down. Creative, that if you start now, maybe you won't see immediately the results, but you have 14 years to unfold that idea. Original idea, original business, original creative idea. It might be, it can be something very creative. And you know what I really like is that Saturn and Mars in the third house of effort and skills will help you, and learning will help you persevere, because if you have some new idea, obviously you need to implement it. You need new skills. You need to be consistent in learning the ins and outs of it, how to, third house is very mechanical and very kind of scientific. Let's uh, see how everything works. And so you have the patience, okay, the perseverance to pursue skills, while at the same time you have the download for the new idea from this fifth house. So wow, guys, I don't know what you can do. And it can be a new educational opportunities. Fifth house is connected to education. Third house is connected to learning new skills. This is more technical part of education, like training and so on, the techniques. This is more hands-on, like making experiments in the lab or whatever, learning how to code. This is more like the fifth house is the inspiration for the education, the somehow it putting meaning in your life, purpose as well, uh, making you all alive. And because the fifth house is the house of intelligence, it's not the third house. Third house is your skills. I mean, some people in memory, some people can memorize long poems, whatever, but it doesn't necessarily, or have great tests because they remember and they know the right answer. Doesn't necessarily mean they're intelligent. This is the house of intelligence. So somehow there is ignition of your intelligence starting that will be unfolding for 14 years. So you won't feel as dull anymore. And this intelligence doesn't come from your mind, it comes from spirit. It's like an ignition of your spirit. Your childlike nature will be restarted, will be rejuvenated. For some of you, can even mean a child entering life, or a new creative project that will be like your child, new idea that will keep giving abundance and financial blessings, nevertheless, because it starts from Taurus, money, over the next 14 years. Maybe within 2-3 years, you have unfolded it, and it will be keep giving and giving and giving for years after that. So what new idea do you have? What new projects? Listen to your intuition, to your heart, but don't try to be distracted by what others tell you. You feel it in your heart. The fifth house is the heart. It's kind of like burning. Or it can be a new romance. Fifth house is to fall in love. And if you fall in love, how are you going to fall in love? Oh, like a schoolgirl. Uranus and Jupiter. Falling in love on Uranus, Jupiter, it's like butterflies. It's like, oh, the colors are brighter. I wish it for all of you Capricorns. I cannot promise it for all of you. But for some, I think it's pretty possible, fifth house. And don't forget, it's not necessary that it happens now in April. This is a 14-year cycle. So the universe promises it. I'm unlocking good karma with this fifth house through the two planets that are connected to inspiration, to knowledge, to clarity. And you unlocking yourself your good karma, because somehow, I mean, with the help of God as well, and your higher self has decided to pour more clarity in your intelligence. So you're more bright and clear about certain things, and you know how to approach romantic relationships. So there is this inflow of new life there. So over the next 14 years, romantic relationships, children, creative ideas, feeling joy from life, being a co-creator with God rather than a consumer are your biggest themes that are going to become a source of wealth and abundance and fortune for you, because this is a combination of fortune. Even if you get pregnant now or give birth, well, this child can make you unlock your good fortune. If you fall in love now, even this romantic relationship can unlock your creative potential and good fortune. If you start a creative process of some sort or some idea original, it can unlock your good fortune. Thank you so much, Capricorn. I hope whatever, if there is crisis because of the eclipses, don't worry, there's a lot of supporting influence. Keep the big picture in mind. Keep everything what I told you, but not just the immediate effects, because oftentimes very important events in our life and changes happen through a crisis. Even if it's a crisis, keep the big picture, what this eclipse wants for you, what Saturn Mars wants for you. Even if you have some tensions here with people around you, even if you have some shakeup in your personal life and emotionally, and some shocks. Remember what the goal of those three new beginnings is, where they want to take you. Thank you.